What is going on, my fellow humans? Today we are taking a look at Risk of Rain 2, the 2020 roguelike released by Hopu Games. Full disclosure to all you Risk of Rainistas out there, but I had not played Risk of Rain 1 prior to playing Risk of Rain 2, and frankly was very new to the roguelike genre in general, only playing Hades before I picked up Risk of Rain 2. Nevertheless, that didn't matter at all because Risk of Rain 2 absolutely stands on its own and slaps. A brief summary of the core gameplay loop is you drop in onto a stage, run around, kill stuff, get money, open chests, get some loot and items that affect how your character play, find a teleporter, summon a boss, kill the boss, and then move on to the next stage. Rinse and repeat. And although the core gameplay is fairly simple, what really makes Risk of Rain 2 shine and makes the game incredibly complex and rewarding is the huge array of items that stack and interact in different ways, as well as the 12 different playable characters, which are completely distinct in their playstyles, strengths, and weaknesses. And on top of all of that, each character also has additional unlockable abilities which will further change their playstyles and completely revamp the way you approach the game as that character. Although a good portion of the game revolves around praying to RNGesus, hoping that you get good items, which range from game-breaking, overpowered, to straight-up useless dog buns. There are other aspects such as the 3D printers, the scrappers, and the multi-shops, which remove some of that randomness from the game and allow you to choose items or trade in existing items for other ones. And finally, what really sets this game apart from the pack and makes it different than pretty much any game I've played in the past is its unique approach with its time-based difficulty scaling, as well as the power scaling of your own character. Big ups to the devs at Hopu Games because they absolutely nailed it on this front. By far and away, the most satisfying thing about this game, hands down, that keeps me coming back time and time again, is the fact that you go from Mr. Pillow Hands Pea Shooter in the first rounds to absolutely cracked, broken OP, Ultra Instinct, Destroyer of Worlds, all in the span of 30 minutes. However, it doesn't matter how many items you stack or how overpowered you think you've become, the enemies will always outscale you. So you gotta stay on your toes or you'll get dusted over and over again, especially on the hardest difficulty, Monsoon. Speaking of the difficulties, in Risk of Rain 2, there are 3 difficulties: Drizzle, Rainstorm, and Monsoon, with those corresponding to easy, medium, and hard. And once again, this is another aspect of the game that was just absolutely perfectly executed, because each of these difficulties plays completely differently and is a perfect fit for all sorts of different players. What's fantastic about these 3 difficulties is they each really serve their own purpose, and all types of players will enjoy playing all types of modes. Honestly, the most similar kind of difficulty system I can relate it to is the Halo series. Although there's not a heroic or 4th difficulty tier, Drizzle pretty much maps up to easy. The middle difficulty, Rainstorm, is somewhere in between normal and heroic, and then Monsoon would be the equivalent of legendary. And it actually provides a significant challenge. Another feature of the game, similar to the Halo franchise, is the artifacts. These are analogous to the Halo skulls and are unlockable modifiers that you find in a secret area, and these can drastically change the way the game plays, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, and sometimes for just plain old wacky. Speaking of the artifacts, if there's one thing that I recommend any new player gets, it's the Artifact of Command, which changes the gameplay drastically in the sense that no longer are the item drops random, but you get to select whichever item you get from each chest. So this eliminates the RNG aspect and therefore much of the difficulty in the game. However, I think that the Artifact of Command offers an invaluable experience for the new players to the game, as it lets you understand what the items are and how they work, as well as how they interact and work with each other in conjunction, and your character. My final pieces of praise for this game go towards the soundtrack, which is an absolute banger, as well as the final boss, which is a really enjoyable and memorable fight. In addition to all that, the just kind of method that you unlock items and different abilities in this game is tied to the achievements, so that makes the overall experience really rewarding, and there's a lot of interesting challenges that you need to accomplish to unlock certain items, which keeps the gameplay fresh and also exciting. Well, if you couldn't already tell, I'm a huge fan of this game, and I think it does a whole lot right and very, very little wrong. Anyways, after convening with the Council of Apes, we have returned, and the Sapient score for Risk of Rain 2 is a 9.6. Honestly, it really shocks me. This game is absolutely slept on. Gameplay, simple and addictive. Soundtrack, absolute banger. Characters, super unique and well done. Big shout out to all my Loader, Huntress, and Merc compadres out there. And although not my favorite to play, the Dino Dogo Schmackrid is definitely the GOAT in terms of design. And finally, on top of all the items, the characters, the abilities, and the different ways to drastically change your playstyle, I forgot to mention that this is all co-op. You can play with up to 4 people, and honestly, Risk of Rain solo is fun, but it becomes even more fun, in my opinion, when you hop online with a bunch of friends. My only knocks on this game come down to the final stage and approach to the boss. I think it's a little too long, and it's a bit tedious and annoying. And then I think my biggest gripe comes with the lunar coins, which are a currency used to acquire some of the best items in the game. They're kind of like double-edged sword items. They have a benefit but also a downside. But the way in which you get lunar coins is just not balanced well. You simply just do not get enough lunar coins to be able to use them. Whether the fix for that is increasing the drop rate of the lunar coins or decreasing the cost of lunar items, I don't know. But I think that is my main negative with the game. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Adios, amigos.